Hi, we're Team R Evolution. We've created this platform called Residevals to allow students, residential assistants, and coordinators to access and manage residential resources. The first functionality that we're going to demonstrate is creating an account. In order to access the system, we have to register an account. So we can go to register an account here, where you can see that we have a lot of fields to fill in to register an account. If I directly click this button over here, you can see that there are a lot of constraints on these fields that we have to fulfill. So for a lot of these fields, they're required, like first name and last name, and other fields like user ID and password have a specific length restraint. So just going to create an account of my net ID and my name and some other data here. Okay, and then I can choose my role, in which case I'm a student. I can just choose student, and then I can specify my year, which I'm a junior, and then I can designate my RA. Here I will demonstrate an unrealistic case where I claim that I have two RAs. This is not true because each student can only have one RA. If I try to register an account, it will show that I have too many RAs, and it tells me to only keep my direct RA. So the system can correctly identify that. So now I try creating an account with only one RA designated, so it should work. And then we can see that the account is created successfully. Now we try logging in with our with the account that we just created. And then we can successfully log into the system.
Okay, now that we're signed into the dashboard, we can see that we have some interactive windows here, and these should update, as we'll see later on, depending on which user is signed in. And so there's nothing here because this user is a fresh account, but we'll see when we sign in later that this should update. But for now, let's go to the search user functionality. And what this does is it allows you to look for people, whether it be students or staff in our residential database. So let's go ahead and look for Raymond by net ID. And we can see, since he's just created this account, he's been written to the database, and we can see him right here. And so we have three ways of filtering. We have by net ID, by first name, and by last name. And so let's go ahead and let's search by last name. And because there's no residents with the last name RMX, we see that no one's found. But if we try looking instead for our good friend Alex Chow, we can see that we can search by multiple different fields. And so we see here that these two fields, phone and dorm, are blocked out. And that's because Raymond's account that's currently signed in is a student account, and we don't have permissions to view these two fields. What we're going to do is we're going to log out, and we're going to go into Shuhai's account. And we can see here that the dashboard does update depending on the dorm of the person who signed in. So we can see all the bell tower events here. And so if we go back to search user, let's just look for one of our auto-generated people. We can see that these phone and dorm fields are now unblocked. And so furthermore, if we click on any entry in our search table, it'll display a little profile that pops up with some extra information that is not shown in this initial search page. And we can see for each student, we can see their RA information here. And so let's go ahead and look for Kim Johnson in our database by net ID. Let's look for KJ240. And we see that in our profiles, this information changes depending on the class, or I guess the role, RA/RC, or student of the person that we're looking for. And so we can see for an RA, we can see not only their RC information, but also a dropdown of all of the students that they've been assigned.
So another functionality we have besides search user is for RA to schedule their availability. So here we have a schedule component that has three parts. So we can submit availability. There's also availability history to each person, and also we can search the availability for different events. So for the first part, we have three example activities like RA on-call hours, resident check-in, and floor runs that like usual common RA like events. And we also randomly generate some dates. So let's say I'm free on these days, and I can submit my availability for the three events. And I can check my availability history here. So if we refresh, then it shows we are available for those days, and we are not available for the rest of the dates. We can also update our availability. Let's say I'm available for all of the 10 days for my on-call hours. So let's say I click everything. Yes, and the history will update accordingly. So we can also just like say I'm available for this days for only one day. So the availability history will also update. So, and then we can also search availability for like a particular event. So if I'm an RC, I want to know like how should I arrange the schedule for like a particular event. I would just say, let's say the on-call hour. So we see like those people are available for the on-call hours. So as you can see that I'm only available for one day as expected. There's also like two different RA that we have available for like different days. So let's say we can select me for 15th and Ella for 17th and Ella for 19th, and I can generate a schedule for this. And then a schedule is like stored locally into the database, and when you need it, you can just use the schedule for like for the planning.
So hi, next I'm going to talk about the functionality of submit and check the safety report. So at first, this is the page to submit a safety report. You can choose whether display or not your username, and then let's choose a report type such as noise complaint, and it will ask you for a location like or then select an urgency level, maybe medium. That's because too loud. Also, here is a attachment file. So it's optional, but you can just so after we submit the report form, we can check the report history, like select the, you can search the history according to the user ID or report ID or some keywords, and so also type urgency level and status. Let's try to have the noise complaint we had before. So now you can see the newest reports that we have already submitted, and the status is submitted. Also, you can ask the admin levels user like RA or RC, they can update the status and send a message here, like the changes status as pending or solving or resolved. Now you can see this is all the report history and also you can check all the status. Yeah. Also, in this way, you can also see the file attachment and leave some message for each history.
A key functionality and an important feature for our Residels platform is allowing our RAs to propose activities that they want to organize for their dorms, for communities, etc. So you see in the activity tab, we have two different tabs that lead to windows. There's a proposal form and then there's activity history that you can look through. So firstly, an RA can go to the proposal form and actually propose an activity. So if I'm an RA for say Bell Tower and I want to propose a movie night, which can be a great event to host. Um, my program name will be a movie night. My building will be bell tower. For this function, we thought that we were considering putting a list. However, we realized that RAs might want to host events outside of their residential building and maybe want to host it in a classroom building or other facilities on campus. Even in law school, business school, maybe take advantage of some of the resources available at Duke, which is why we left the building option open so we can take advantage of using different options there. So building will be bell tower. I can put a room number, for example, 101 would be the common room, maybe. Um, and then for date, I can put maybe next Friday should be good. And then for time, I can put 7 p.m., for example, which is a good time to host a movie night late in the evening. And for a description, I can put in study break, movie night, for example, and then I can just submit that, and I get a confirmation message telling me that my event has been submitted, and I can already see it on my dashboard. And more importantly, this dashboard is a reflection of the activity history window, which we can access through the tab here. We can search building name, for example, Bell Tower, and as soon as I search it, I'm seeing all kinds of movie nights. There's already a Halloween movie night that's been organized, and this was labeled movie night too. Just to create that differentiation, that was in October. This is in December, as we saw. But clearly, our activity history tab is logging all the events that we're hosting accurately and getting the job done.